Good day, good evening. Welcome to race 6 of the FAI eSports Series 2025. I am Antoine, today with Witold Rozak once again. Good evening, Witold.
Good evening, Antoine. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Did you have a nice day?
Yes, very nice. Saturday. Didn't need to go to work. That's always a win in my book.
I agree. So we had already a race this afternoon, race 5. So I suggest that we have a look at the task 5 and then the a few screenshots and the results from the first race of the day. So the pilots had to fly. You can see very close to Balmulhouse and Zurich airports, and they flew over the Black Forest in Germany, so close to Freiburg and Stuttgart. They had to go to the northeast to turn point one there, and there were a lot of overdevelopment over the Black Forest, so very good variometers there, but some showers of rain and even a thunderstorm while the pilots were crossing the Black Forest after the start. Then some weak thermals going to turn point one. It was not easy to get out, but everyone managed it quite properly. And then we had to go to turn point two and turn point three to the southeast before going back to turn point four and the finish line. We had a great view on the Lake Constance as well, very close to the north east of Zurich. So it was quite nice, really nice views for the pilots. You can see that with the screenshots that will follow. That was on the way over the Black Forest this afternoon. Very good ceilings with around 2,500 meters air for the ceiling, so it was quite good. Very good thermal, 3 meters per second, more or less, sometimes 4, so quite nice. That was going to third point one. You can see still nice cloud street and cumulus clouds on the route towards turn point one, but you can see as well some weak thermals with cumulus that are not well shaped here. Otherwise, it was quite nice. Then two pictures of the arrivals. So there was a plateau again to cross for the pilots. Some pilots had to outland because even if you were on the finish glide with 2 meters per second, you still had to manage to cross this plateau to go towards this river and towards the finish line, where the pilots had to cross again a high voltage line on short final. You can see that with the next picture, and that was, I think, the arrival right here. Thank you very much, team. We can have a look at the results from race 5. Vitold, what do we have?
Well, I can see that Patrick won the race, so well done, Patrick. He is a little bit lower in the overall classification, but with this win, probably increases. This win increases chances of getting closer to the top quite significantly. In the second and third place, this is quite interesting. We see our German
Leader.
friends,
Yeah.
Frank and Janis, being really consistent in this race. In this competition,
Mhm.
they came in the top again, and that means that the Frank, I think, is in the lead now.
I think so.
But Janis has one race. He flew one race less than the other guys, so I think he's still in a pretty good position to actually take an overall lead.
Nice.
I just want to mention we can see Pavel Jacques in the fourth place. Pavel
Mhm.
started relatively
Late.
recently.
Okay.
In general, he just started flying in Condor 3, so I think that this is a great achievement to score such a high
Mhm.
place in this high level competition.
Indeed, I do agree. Then we have Pierre Lefebvre on fifth place, 132 kph. You can see on the top 10 the speed between 133 and 130 kph. So that was really close, and 3 seconds between Patrick Médard and Franz Schwetzfeger, but they were flying on a different server, which is very interesting because Frank and Yannis were on the big one, I think, just like Pavel, and Patrick and Pierre were on another server. and you can see that they were all really close, only a few seconds between them. So a really nice task with 130 kilometers average for the top 10. So quite nice. And we can give a shout out as well to Nico Bianchi from Argentina and to Mike Oscar from Japan, who were racing with us this afternoon, and Davis Chapins, obviously, that we see quite a lot in the top 10 for the past few races. Is on second place overall Davis.
Yeah, and with this seventh position, well, I think this is still pretty good. We need to keep in mind that not all races actually count towards the final standing. So I think that the competition is still open. It
Mhm.
will now depend on how much pilots can improve some of the weaker results at this stage of the competition.
Yeah, I do agree. Be told. Let's jump into race 6 now. The pilots are already in the air, and as you can see, it looks like we're in the French Alps again. We are flying the Diana 2. Everyone is flying the Diana 2 for the entire competition, and we are very close to Sisteron, right here in the French Alps, and close to La Motte du Caire as well. Nice clouds, but they are very close to be overdeveloped on the entire scale. There are only two weather zones, one base zone that you see right here with very thick clouds, but the base is indeed uh, not as high as the pilots would would like them to be, let's say. They will start very close to the Hongrie mountain south of La Motte du Caire, and they will go to turn point 1 to the southeast. They will need to go to Egin Pont, the Pont d'Egin, a classic from the French Alps. Then they will need to go to the northwest to Luc en Diois before going to the east to Savine Pont on the lake of Serponçon before going back to Valenty, which is an outlining field in the valley of Sisteron, and then back to Sisteron. It's going to be a long race. As you can see, the maximum altitude for the start is 1,700 meters and the max speed 170 kph. So they go to the south, as I said, to turn point one right here to Egin, then to the northwest to Lucandiwa. You can see the second weather zone here on the screen, north of the track between turn point 2 and turn point 3. A lot of overdevelopment there, but very good thermals, and the wind is coming from the north on the second weather zone, so on the weather zone on the north. Otherwise, the wind is coming from the southwest for the base weather. Then, so they go to turn point 3. It's going to be interesting. I think a lot of options will be open between turn point 2 and turn point 3 to try to win the race. And after turn point 3 in Savine, they will need to go through the Jalinier towards Gap and then towards Valenty and Sisteron airfield. And the minimum altitude for the arrival is 560 meters, I believe. That's correct. So that's roughly 30 meters above the finish line. Let's jump onto Condor 3 because the start line is going to open in a few seconds, I think. Unless there was someone stuck in the server somewhere that made it after 2030 here for the start, but I think it will start quite soon. What do you see, Vitold, on the screen?
Well, just looking at the task that you presented a few seconds ago, I think on each leg is going to be quite interesting. In the first leg, we are flying northwest. There is quite a few different mountain ridges which are situated pretty much perpendicularly to the track, which means that there will be plenty of opportunities for people to get stuck. If somebody is
Yeah.
not very careful, it could be very costly. If someone gets stuck and will need to spend some time to climb to get over. Of course, there is an option to just fly north following the valley. But as we know in Condor 3, the thermals are usually better near ridges, especially on top of the ridges. So I would expect that the pilots will probably take a little bit more westerly route, that they will go a little bit west and try to jump from one mountain ridge to another, and this way try to make the way towards 10.1. Well, 10.2, well, after 10.1, going back east, that's also going to be quite interesting because there's, as you can see, some pilots may decide to go further north to exploit better weather or stronger thermals in the zone. But there's also some risk of rain there, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what strategy pilots will take.
Peter,
Okay,
I'm stopping you for a second
yeah,
here. Looks like the start line is open just right now, and the
yeah.
pilots are going probably to go to the left to have a chance to pass this mountain pass because they are not so high, and I think you need to have some security to pass over this mountain pass. It's not easy.
Yeah, I can already see that there is a couple of different strategies. As we can
Yeah.
see, Whiskey Romeo, Piotr decided to go pretty much through the middle of the valley. But we've got the majority of the pilots. I think they're trying to go left to the west to try to maybe find some good climbs on the south and west side of this mountain ridge over here. I think that they should be able to pass the first reach.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of something that I was thinking before the race. But it's nice to see already that we haven't even started the race yet, and we already have quite a few different strategies employed by the pilots.
I agree. Indeed, you have two main options here. The one that we have right in front of us, trying to go to Col de Jouer, but if you cannot make it and you don't pass the mountain, then you're stuck and you need to get back to Sisteron if you go too fast and so on. But those pilots are flying, as you can see, at 130 kph, trying to get the maximum of energy on those ridges to go towards turn point one here. Or you have the option to go quite straight from the start line towards Pont-d'Aiguine through the valley of Durance next to Saint-Auban, and then take the plateau to go to Aiguine. So quite some options for the pilots.
Yeah, but they're flying on the northern side now, right? And the
No, no,
wind
no.
is
That's southeast, southwest side of Col de Jouer here. Southwest. And then you have the next mountain where you see turn point one right here. The mountain that's just after this one is Auton, which aligns as well with the wind quite properly southwest.
okay. I got confused, to be honest, a little bit. I wasn't sure from like what is the wind direction right now,
Sorry.
but okay.
So the wind is 225, so southwest for 16 kilometers per hour on the base weather, but for the weather on the north side of the track between turn point two and turn point three, it's coming from the north.
Okay.
So there will be a small change right there.
Okay, and it looks like a couple of pilots decided to already stop to climb a little bit. Yeah, it looks like Alpha Echo X-Ray Alex got a pretty good climb. I think that he's climbing quite well.
And yeah, that's interesting to see that they're stopping here. Maybe you could continue, or you decide to stop. It's the longest race, the longest task of the championship now. It's 292 kilometers, something like this. So it's not going to be easy for the pilots. I expect them to fly quite fast. It's not going to be 130 kph like this afternoon. I think it's going to be much more like 150 if they use the reach properly and so on. That's why the ceiling is low as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they will do, because as you can see, the ceiling is not high, so they need to join each reach at the good at the perfect level to gain the maximum of energy every time. So it's not an easy game to play for them.
Yeah, and we can see David did not manage to find any lift at the beginning of the race,
Yeah.
and he decided to continue. And yeah, that is a bit risky because, as we know, in Conda 3, it's very difficult to find a good lift if you are low and close to the bottom of the valley. So let's hope that he will manage to find something. Otherwise, he might be in a bit of trouble. But he still got open valleys in front of him, so it's not like he will get stuck for a long time. So I think that if he finds some good lift, he is probably in a very good shape here.
Mhm. Nils Kiefer joining Oton right here. So you have Oton and Oribo. David Redman was on Oribo, so north of Oton. And we have Piotr and Alex who left this night thermal. I think it was quite a good one. And Alex is going to the right towards the valley of Saint-Auban. And you have really a really nice cloud street, I think, there. Going to Saint-Auban, or you can continue and go to La Big after Oton, right there. So nice mountains close to Saint-Auban, well known from the pilots flying there.
Yeah,
But
and looks like pilots are here again, splitting again, making some decisions. So there's a group who decided to go to the right. There is quite a few clouds lining nicely on top of this ridges on the right. Piotr he decided to go a little bit more to the left. Maybe he's hoping to join this longer cloud street that is going to lead him nicely towards the 10.1. Not sure what's happening behind Piotr. I wonder
yeah,
what other people have decided to do.
yeah, maybe we can have yeah an overall view like this. Thank
That's
you.
a really nice view. It looks like we clearly have two different groups with
Even
different
three
ideas.
options,
Even
you can
three
see.
options. Yes, yes.
Very interesting. A lot of guys stopped on the west of Col de Jouer on the track going to turn point one. So quite interesting. And David Redman didn't stop at all from Oribo, jumping to La Big, which is the next mountain he is facing right now. Golf Echo 7 is stopping with Charlie Victor 3. And we have Alex with Jam right there going close to Saint-Auban. Let's go back to David Redman, maybe. Thank you.
He's at 1,600 meters. So yeah, the altitude unfortunately is decreasing all the time without. Yeah, I wonder what his plan now is. He will
Mm.
probably go to the left and try to find some lift under these clouds that we can see here. Well, he's still flying reasonably fast and still flying towards the 10.1. So,
Mhm.
provided that he will find a good lift, uh, well, he should be all right. But that's the strategy. I'm not sure if this is strategy. Maybe in Condor 3 sometimes just arriving 50 meters below
Yeah.
the other gliders mean that you will not be able to find lift and not will be able to climb.
Yeah.
So this is maybe in this first lift. Others were maybe just slightly higher, and they managed to catch the thermal. He didn't, so obviously he was forced to push on and continue. He's an experienced pilot, so he knew that there is no point in just stopping and turning without climbing whatsoever and just wasting time. Because if you do something like this, there's always a risk that you will just waste a lot of time and don't gain any altitude whatsoever. So those experienced pilots, they know that if they are not certain that a particular lift is going to be good, they are just not going to stop. They will just carry on.
Mhm. Looks like a very good cloud street with Alex right here. And then I wonder which option he will take, if he will go to the left or to the right. Knowing that the wind is coming from the right here. So maybe we'll go to the right and try to go through the plateau and not use the ridges that he has on his left. It's going to be interesting here. I think he will go to the right, I hope, because it's a big option. You can see a small cloud forming right here. So it's quite good. It's quite good.
Yeah, I think that we well. I also thought that he will go to the right towards this clouds on the right side, but looks like maybe he will just pull
Yeah.
up and gain a bit of altitude here, and then turn. There was also a new cloud forming just on his left, so maybe he was thinking about using that cloud as well.
Hmm.
We've got Frank right now, also pushing about 170, almost 180 kilometers per hour at 1800 meters roughly. I think he gained some altitude in this first thermal, so he's also in reasonably good position at the moment.
Yeah.
And looks like he's just flying behind Kuba
Kuba.
Januszkiewicz. So well, he will have some. I mean, Frank will have some indication because Kuba will obviously pull in a strong lift, and it's always nice to have this advance indication or advance warning on where thermals actually are. And again, other pilots just observing other gliders in front of you, it's possible to gauge how good the lift is, which means that the pilot flying behind can make a decision about how hard they are going to pull in a particular thermal. Because if thermal is weak, pulling from 180 kilometers per hour to slow down to something like 110, almost stalling, that's never a good idea. Increase the wing loading when you pull up, the additional aerodynamic forces and drag when you deflect the elevator. All this is quite costly for a marginal gain if thermal is weak. So in weak thermals, it's definitely not a good idea to aggressively pull up, and pilot flying a glider flying ahead of you that can give you indication of how good lift is. It's very valuable because you can see that if glider ahead of you is climbing really well, they've gained a lot of energy, you can then afford to pull slightly harder, to slow down a little bit more and gain a lot of energy. If you see that they haven't gained particularly much energy, you just maybe slow down a little bit from 180 to like 160
Hmm.
and just carry on.
I agree. I agree. And those pilots are flying so with an option on the ridges from the beginning right here. We have Norbert Kies, Golf Echo 7, Kuba, Frank Schwetzfeger in this group. And I think in a few seconds we'll jump towards the next group to Alex to see what choices is made so far and what are the options in front of Alex. Thank you. So you can see kind of a cloud street here, and really nice clouds, probably powerful thermals. I think he will try to stop here to go to the ceiling and come back, go to 10.1 afterwards. I think he needs to stop here, 1,200 meters, and those clouds they look good indeed. But as I said, the ceiling is not that high today compared to what they've had on the previous races. So they need to make some tough decisions from time to time and to take some risk as well from time to time.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately the ridges are kind of ending for Alex. I think that
Yeah,
he will probably need to climb here.
yeah,
I don't think that it would be a good idea to just push on. So I think that he is in kind of critical situation now. He needs to find something at the before those ridges end, because afterwards the terrain is quite flat. There are mountains on the left side that he will not be able
yeah,
to get to the
exactly.
top of those mountains. So ideally, he should be thinking about climbing here to the cloud base, and maybe then deviating a little bit to the left to maybe join this other group and use the mountains that we can see on the left to get to the first
Yeah,
standpoint.
exactly. I think if I were him, indeed, I would go to the right and join this big cloud street just to try to find something here because I think climbing indeed is crucial for him right now. We are back with Piotr, and as you can see, yeah, he's pulling a bit, and there is some energy for the pilots on those ridges with only 16 kilometers per hour, but still, it's giving something to the pilots that they can use. So it's good, and he's got something. He's trying to climb. He's got a thermal air. Do we have a cumulus cloud? Probably we have a cumulus cloud above. Yes,
Yeah, I think that it's always to pay off to be a little bit above
the ridge.
the ridge. So even if the climb was not particularly strong, I think it was still a good idea to be able to be on top of the ridge and then have the options open to go, the left or right, because there's nothing, at your altitude to prevent you from doing so.
Mhm.
So definitely a good idea to climb a little bit, get some energy. We've got, I think, this group over here is doing quite well. We can see quite a few pilots over here. We can also hear, for example, Zbyszek, Zulu Bravo Yankee,
Mhm.
who is quite close to this leading group. I would probably say that whoever is on top of this group is possibly leading the race right now. But of course, there is so many more kilometers to go that the leading the race at this stage, well, does not mean much. It's very difficult to lead the race and stay in the lead until all the way to the finish line, for the reasons I've mentioned before. Pilots flying behind always have a little bit of an advantage. So yeah, everything can happen. So I'm just wondering if we could have a slightly zoomed out view, like who is actually on top of this thermal, who is leading the
Ah,
race.
Frank Schwetzweger, Echo
uh,
Yankee as
yeah,
well. 330 Kuba. So it's a nice group. It's a nice group here, and looks like a very good thermal because they are all stopping here more or less, and it's very busy. We've seen a very close view from Inigo here, and it was very difficult to fly in this gaggle right here.
yeah, and as we can see, we've got Piotr climbing with almost 4 meters per second. So this is a very good thermal. And looks like Yanis Ekoyanki is in a really good position right now. I wonder if they climbed a little bit higher earlier before, because I think that both Yanis and Frank arrived quite high to this thermal. I didn't see how, but that's kind of like what I suspect happened. But there we go. We've got a nice group over here. I think these guys are doing really well so far, and they will be in a much better position compared to the other group who was on the right, like Alex, for example. Jan, Juliet Alpha Mike, I think he's just trying to climb a little bit in the middle of the valley. I'm not sure if he's thermaling under this dissipating cloud, but I think that he also decided to just gain some altitude to be able to join the clouds on top of the ridges on his left. Yeah. Yes, Jan unfortunately is not in a great position, as you can see, because he would love to be on top of these mountains on the left, but unfortunately he is too low. So he should be hoping to maybe get some good climb, maybe over one of those little hills, to climb high enough to be able to join the others on the left.
So if you have questions, you can join us on Twitch and ask your questions there, and we will do some polls and betting later on. Don't hesitate to come and ask your questions before the pilots are turning turn point one. We are with Dirk at 1,000 meters, and yeah, it's not going to be easy at all here at 1,000 meter because, as Vitold explained moments ago, being this low on the ridges on Condor Tree will not give you a lot of energy, and it's going to be difficult to catch the thermals. So probably it would better aim for a cumulus in the valley somewhere to try to get something because it's not going to be easy at all for him. The wind is only coming from the 2 to 5 or 16 kilometers, so it's not a lot of wind in Condor 3, and in reality as well, it's not a lot of wind on the ridges. You probably need 20, 25 kph to get a lot of energy, but it's not the same as before when we were flying Condor 2. So the pilots need to manage another style of racing, but looks like he's finding something here. So
Yeah, and
maybe
so
he will
far,
be saved. Maybe,
yeah,
but
so far he's looking really good.
yeah,
His average was, yeah, for a minute was about 3. I think that he's just making a small correction now.
yeah.
As you can see, he could feel that the thermal on one side was way stronger than on the other. We could see that he just straightened for a second or two and tries again. So let's hope that we will find the core of the thermal here and will be able to climb above the ridge.
We have. You can bet now on Twitch. We will turn point one first. We have Oscar Niner, Echo Yankee, Alpha Echo X-Ray, Golf Echo 7, or Delta Romeo 1 that you have on the screen. Dirk, Raphael. So you can bet amongst those 5 pilots here. And if you have another bet, just comment, and we'll be happy to state your comment or your bet right now. Is climbing well. Maybe let's go back to David Redman that we've seen at the beginning of the race to see what he's up to right now. Is he in a better position? He's behind the leaders, David, at 2,000 meters. You can see,
Mm,
yeah. So he was with Norbert Kist, Kuba, and so on. But indeed, you can see that Yanes, Ineko Yankee, and Oscar Niner have taken the lead in
yeah,
terms of
David
magnitude.
has done excellent job. Looks like he was in a bit of a trouble, but
Mhm.
he must have found quite a good lift. Managed to climb pretty much to the same altitude as everybody else. He's not that far behind the pilots ahead of him. He will be getting a lot of information because of that. So yeah, I'm glad to see that he managed to recover and is now actually in a pretty good position, I would say. I'm just wondering what's happening with Marcin May. We can
That's
see Mike Alpha Yankee on the
yeah,
right side. I think he decided to take more direct route towards the 10.1. I think that he flew over this plateau or pretty much
yeah.
the flat terrain. But I think that he might probably
Oh no,
be high
just
enough.
yeah. I thought as well that he was there on the plateau, but no, he's with the other guys. So I'm surprised, but he's
Yeah.
over
Okay.
the
So
guys. Yeah,
I think that he's slowly getting from the valley towards the left to
yeah,
to the left side
yeah.
towards the mountains to use this. Yeah, he was flying. Uh, yeah, okay, he was actually flying above the mountains all the time. I thought that he just came from the valley, but it looks like he just took a slightly different path. Maybe there was a new cloud there. He decided to go a little bit to the right, hoping that he will gain more energy than the others. Yeah, but this cloud street above these ridges is really nice. I think pilots are in a very good position to arrive to the first endpoint at the cloud base. And to be honest, that's what I would be aiming to do, possibly. It looks like what are they pretty much coming back in the same direction as they came from? Like
Yeah.
what's happening? Yeah.
Uh, it's going to be very interesting afterward. Oh, Marcin is having a very good moment right here. And this is interesting. You can see that some of them are stopping to take a thermal and others will not stop. And then it will be interesting. After turn point one, they need to go to Lucandiwa turn point two. And they can either go back from this way or they can go towards Saint-Auban, Montagne de Lure, which is west of Saint-Auban, and cross directly on the west side of the Durance Valley, or they can stay on the east side with those mountains, but they need to make a choice at turn point one, and it's going to be a choice for 100 kilometers. So it's a big decision to make for the pilots when they reach turn point one right here, and we have a super nice view, and you can see a good lift for the pilots right here. It's a lift that you have every day here on the mountain that is called Serre de Mondonnier. It's really close to Puy-Moisson, and you have this lift almost every day. It's crazy. It's the biggest one here. So when I see that on Condor 3, I'm like, it's great. It's really working just like in real life, and it's really good to see. Nice view, really nice view on the gaggle and on thermal.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like this is a really good opportunity for them to get close to the cloud base and continue. Looks like that's what Giannis decided to do. He climbed all the way to the top to continue, uh, and they are very close to the first endpoint. And there's also for people like who want to maybe come and visit this area in France. It's a beautiful area. There, I think they are just passing a lovely village, which is pretty. I forgot Sainte
Sainte
Marie.
Marie, yeah,
Yeah,
Sainte
which
Marie.
is which is a village that is kind of almost glued to the side of the mountain.
Yeah,
Just a beautiful place. And of course the canyon at the beginning of the turn point it's also a really nice place to visit. So if anybody is in the southern France, highly recommended.
we are reaching turn point one with
And
Tom
look,
Eagles in Charlie Victor 3 right now. The Pont des Guides right here, and it is turning to the left. So let's see
so
what the others will do.
yeah, I think that he's just going back to the same. He's
Yeah,
just going back to the same.
for now,
Yeah,
we are with Janez, Frank Schwetzfeger, and Thierry Xresia, Sander. Well done. They are not flying too fast. Very good lift here, pulling, pushing. Good flying from Janez right here.
yeah, but still trying. They're still trying to keep the speed, even in a good lift. They know that there is a plenty of good lift available. That
Yeah.
there is no need to slow down to 120 kilometers per hour, which greatly reduces your average speed. They know that they can just slow down a little bit, extract energy little by little, and that will be enough to climb to the cloud base. Because in a situation like this, when there's a lot of lift available, it usually doesn't make much sense to slow down to something like 120 kilometers per hour, climb to the cloud base, and then be limited by the clouds above you. So you cannot really climb any higher, and you have to fly really fast through a strong lift. So it's usually better to just manage your speed in such a way to get to the cloud base at the end of the cloud street. That's
Okay.
usually an optimal strategy, in my opinion.
Mhm. I agree. I think he will get back to the main ridge indeed, but it's going to be difficult for Jan here. Maybe we'll try to turn and then take a thermal here because there are a few options right there, but it's not easy. Max Zulu, Zulu Bravo Yankee, Det turned as well. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah, and I also wondered, what do you think, Antoine, about the strategy of flying in Condor compared to real world? You know, all these things that we are talking about
Yeah,
slowing in thermal, not actually slowing too much, prevent, obviously not stalling the glider, stuff like that.
yeah.
Would you say that those strategies are equally valid in real world, or do you think that there is a big difference from strategic point of view, how glider races are flown in real life compared to Condor?
No, I really think that it's really, really close to reality now compared to Condor 2 because in Condor 2 we didn't have, well, we had the same weather everywhere, first of all. So you didn't have to manage a change in your in your situation. Let's say you didn't have to slow down that much or to accelerate that much because you didn't have those transitions to make between weak weather, good weather, and so on. You didn't have to match that, first of all. So that's a big, big difference. And as you can see now, we have nice cloud streets that give a lot of energy. The ridge is not working the same as it was before in Condor 2, which was, in my opinion and in the developers' opinions, overpowered. The ridge when you have when you had 15 or 16 kilometers, just like today, it was working way too much. But now it's not working very well. But if you set the thermals uh, in in Condor tree like we've done today, then you have really good and powerful thermals. But it's not always the case when you set wind with 60 kilometers. It's just that we've set the weather like this, so it would work really well, and we have a fast race. But yeah, I do agree. It's well for me. It's much better today, and it's really close to reality, and that's a big difference because before, real world pilots had some struggle to win races sometimes in Condor 3, and now it's much better. And now, let's say only the pilots flying virtually, they really need to adapt to the new game, which is much closer to reality. So we are going towards a good direction, I would say. And it's really good. And I think the transition as well, because you are training pilots as well in virtual, and you want them to come to the real world, and having this new simulator brings you much more things, and you learn so much more things with Condor 3 now. It will help you a lot to go in the real world and to learn to fly for real in gliders with Condor 3. So I'm really happy about it. And for me, there is a big difference between the two. And for the physics of the game, flying the aircraft is as well much better, especially in the thermals. The nose is moving more than before, and you can feel more stuff when you are flying with a force feedback joystick. So it's quite good, really quite nice to fly. I take a lot of pleasure to fly. So that's why we are doing the afternoon races without any live streaming. It's because a lot of people from the team are flying as well to enjoy Condor 3 and to try to gather the maximum information that we have from simulator to then be able to understand the new simulator and to explain the game to the pilots or the fans. So it's really exciting for everyone to have the new game now.
Right, looks like Sander managed to get to the lead. I wonder how far away the rest of the pack is behind him. Looks like, yeah, there's a bunch of pilots chasing him now, but we still have a large group of pilots which are pretty close together. So everybody is doing quite well. I was watching Tom in just a few minutes ago when we had our camera focus on him, and he did a great job of like slowing down to 150 when he had about 2.5 meters lift, and then suddenly the lift became much stronger. Then it was easy for him to just pull a little bit more and start thermaling, and he ended up thermaling in something like 4.2 meters per second thermal. That's exactly how this should be done. So well done to Tom for extracting pretty much maximum energy from this little mountain and the cloud street above it. Of course, others, I think Frank and Janes arrived at the top again of that mountain, so they are doing quite well. Uh, yeah, Janes looks like Janes is pretty high, close to the cloud base, in very close to the leading pilot of the race. So yeah, doing great. And here we go, David Redman, not so far away from the leading pilots. So despite some trouble at the beginning, he managed to recover really well, and is still in the race. Can pretty much well fighting for the first place with the others.
Yeah, exactly. Really good flying from David. He did not give up this afternoon after the start for race 5. A lot of pilots went down and down, and they really struggled. And some of them outlanded, but the weather conditions were so nice. But pilots were pushing a little bit too much. And today, well, right now on race 6, they are being more careful, trying to be more careful. There are a lot of options as well, which was not the case this afternoon. Not as many options, but the pilots are flying well. Just coming back on what we were talking about a few minutes ago, Captain Pena on Twitch said the difference compared to real life with Counter 3 comes with the margin you fly with, outlandings, and so on, which I agree. Indeed, because in real life you still have the pressure from uh, risking your life, outlanding, and so on, which you don't have here. But when you fly in VR, you really feel that you are inside the glider and so on, but still you don't have that pressure to stay 5 6 hours in the air landing field right here waiting for your friends to pick you up, and you don't take any big risk uh, for that. So but in real life we call it sporting risk as well in the competition, and sometimes you take very big risks to win the race or to win the competitions. It can happen, but everyone is trying to lower uh, those risks as much as they can. So, but indeed, that's a difference. Yeah,
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. That in condo, just being comfortable about the fact that you're not going to lose your life if you catch at top of a tree with your wing. That definitely pushes pilots to fly a little bit more aggressively. But I think that if somebody wants to use condo as a training tool for real world flying and gliding, as long as they treat it as a real world flight, they can still try to fly safely. They can still try to think about the land out options, about if they're in range of the airfields. You can still fly with external PDAs, or you can still fly with the LX 9000 now, in
hmm
which you could have a map of the outlanding fields. The glide computer can tell you if you are in range of one of these outlanding fields. You can still aim to fly safely, to be always in range of a safe outlanding spot. So especially with Condor 3, I think this brought us a little bit closer to real world gliding. Again, that's another thing. So I think you can make it as realistic as you want. Of course, if it's a
if
competition, people are
if you
going
set
to risk.
barriers, indeed, if you set barriers and really want to play just like in real life, indeed, you can do that like this. But indeed, as Captain said, if you want to go and take the maximum amount of risk, you can do that indeed. But it's not the game that we want, obviously.
Yeah, I know that I would definitely treat a flight that would have a training purposes, that I just wanna get myself familiar with the particular terrain or something like that. I would treat it completely differently than to like a little random race somewhere in the area that I will never fly in the real world or something, and I'm just flying for fun.
Yeah,
So it's yeah, but it also depends on. I think that it might be worth mentioning that this race is actually CC rated. That there is
yeah.
this website which is called Condor Club. I'm not sure if there may be new pilots who just started with the Condor. They
Mhm.
might not be aware of that, but this competition and many other competitions are hosted on Condor Club, and there
Mhm.
is an additional feature on Condor Club
Mhm.
which is called CC rating, which pilots can gain points depending on how well they score
Cool.
against
Yeah.
other pilots, and um, outlanding or crashing in a CC rated competition has a huge consequences in terms of the number of points that people can lose. This
Okay.
is something, if somebody doesn't care about that, because there's many people who just simply do not care about the
Yeah.
CC rating, that's okay. Of course, nobody needs to care about that. But those who do care, I'm pretty sure that they fly much more carefully
Carefully. Yeah.
compared to just races which are not CC rated. I've seen many times when people would spend half an hour to try to climb away from a really difficult position just to be able to reach the finish line and be ahead of those people who outlanded, just to minimize the losses in terms of CC rating points. Well, in the past, without CC rating, they would simply disconnect or crash or land out because they just wouldn't care. So this is another thing that for those who do care, I think this increases like how carefully they fly in Condor, which I think is also a good thing for real world pilots.
Pure told, I really do agree with you on that. We'll launch a new bet in a few seconds or minutes about the options. What would be the best options for you to go to turn point two? Let's say this one, which we will call the west option or the east option toward the mountains here on the east. You will see that in a few seconds. Um, so the pilots are reaching the Saint-Auban, the Durance Valley, very close to Saint-Auban, 1,500 meters right here. You have Marcin May stopping, going to Luc-en-Diois. Again, another nice cloud street, the one that Alex took to go to the turn point one. And you can see Luc-en-Diois right there. And maybe we can have a view on the right afterwards to see where the other pilots are. Thank you. And so you see the second group, which is on La Big, the other mountain just behind this one, which is Lavomaz. We are on Lavomaz right now. Really, the first mountain east of Saint-Auban, going to Luc-en-Diois, which is northwest of Saint-Auban.
Yeah, I suspected that again after the first endpoint. I thought that it would probably be better to go to the east, use the eastern part like route. But you can't really know exactly what's going to happen
Yeah.
beforehand. We had many situations where the route that looks really well, there were some really nice clouds, turned out to be not as good as people were expecting. So anything can happen, but again, I suspect that the guys who are now on the eastern side, on the right side of the track, that they will have a little bit more comfortable flight with the clouds there. But we also saw a nice cloud street here. We see a couple of guys here. Marching is quite high. Indigo is just climbing away. Not particularly super strong thermal, 2.5. We've seen much stronger lift today. But I think that he maybe decided to just climb a little bit higher to be closer to the cloud base to be able to reach this really strong lift. Because you can carry on flying low and just keep climbing in 2 meters, climb a little bit, get to the next one, climbing 2 meters, or you can just bite your teeth, sacrifice a little bit of time, get high to the cloud base, and from then just be able to really reach those strong climbs and potentially maybe even catch up with the people ahead of you. Alexander over here also at 1600 meters decided to climb. I'm not sure how close he seems to be. Where is he actually compared to other guys?
Is to Auton, which is north east of Saint-Auban, right here. And maybe yes, you can
Okay.
unzoom to see both groups.
So he is in this
Or
leading group. He's just on the
yeah,
like on
okay,
lower on that.
yeah, is lower. And we have David Redman with Franz Schwetzweger, but they stopped at Labig. I think there are 2,200 meters right there. And we have Sander Terpstra in with Yanes, Sierra, Sierra, and Echo Yankee leading the group with Kuba as well. So
Yeah, they
interesting options coming.
Yeah, they they've got an open valley ahead of them with just this little very short ridge. I think that is always a good idea to, especially if you can find a strong lift, to climb before you try to cross the valley, because that means that you can arrive at higher altitude to the next mountains on the other side, and
Mhm.
you've got then a better chances of finding a strong lift. If you leave one ridge reason like quite low, and then you decide to cross a valley, then you arrive really low to the next ridges, and you might be too low to find good lift. So I quite like the strategy of climbing at the end of the ridge to the cloud base, then to be able to arrive quite high to the next ridge.
Next one. Okay.
So That's definitely, and I think that that's probably the same in real world, that you want to be high before you
Yeah,
start crossing valleys.
yeah, exactly. We have Marcin May at 1,800 meters almost, and he's going straight toward Lucandiwa, and there is probably a nice cloud street here. Uh, and Sander is on his right there, Sierra X-Ray Sierra. You can see both guys right there, and they are neck and neck, I would say, here. Marcin has a more direct route, but he does not benefit from the ridges. So he's flying, let's say, slower than the group with Sander, but he's going straight. So it's kind of a match for both, and kind of the same for now. But we will see what the options, what will be the options for the pilots afterwards. He will fly just over the small town of Sisteron, Marcin, I think. That you will see. The town is on the left in the valley, so just east of Sisteron. Actually, it's the one just in the middle of the valley, right there. Great.
So he will just be flying above Saint Marie du Clair, right?
I don't know.
There is an airfield on the east from Sisteron.
Oh, Moducare, yeah.
Yeah,
Moducare,
yeah,
indeed.
yeah. Sorry,
But
sorry for my terrible pronunciation of
no,
the
no, no, don't
French
worry.
places.
I am not sure he's going to go to La Motte du Caire. I think Sander will go to La Motte du Caire, but I'm not sure that he will go to La Motte. La Motte is 1 to 2 hours. Well, let's say 2 hours on the right here. When look, and I think he
Yeah,
will go just straight over Sisteron and Airfield and not over La Motte du Caire.
yeah, maybe the other guys will go over because they are further to the east.
And you know what you said a few minutes ago was very interesting. Like they took different options, which are both good, and we don't know what will be the best one in the end between west of the track or east of the track, because you don't know if the thermals are going to be very good in the valley or on the ridges and so on. So it's interesting to see they will end up there. Sander is living at 2,200 meters, which is quite high. He stopped and he's got a nice one. Maybe he wants to stay connected with Marcin, and he will go to the left to join Marcin right there, or maybe we'll go to the ridge on the right and follow more ridges on the right. It's going to be interesting to see that and to see what are the other guys doing behind, because Sander is kind of leading right now this group. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think that Sander might be just too close to the turn point to make a big deviation, because the closer you are to the turn point, then, even if you deviate a little bit, it very quickly ends up to be a quite high angle compared to the direction
Mhm.
in which you're supposed to be flying. So usually being close to the turn point is, it's never a good idea to make big deviation. So I think that he will probably try to straight towards the turn point as possible.
It's far away. It's far away from
How
here.
many kilometers? Because
It,
on
it,
the
it's probably around 50 to 60 kilometers,
oh,
depending
50. Oh, yeah, it just looked like from the
Yeah,
perspective, it
it
just looked
looks
like it's
like, but
going.
it's
No, no,
quite
no.
far away.
Yeah, it is far away. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
yeah,
they can go and join marching, yeah, on the other side.
yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, and again, what I really enjoyed about Conda 3 and was really interesting
Yeah,
is the fact that it's the situation during the race changes more often compared to Conda 2.
yeah,
In Conda 2, when somebody was in a lead, let's say whatever, 10 kilometers ahead, if nothing dramatic happened, it
yeah,
was pretty much like in the bank that the pilot will win the race. In Condor 3, you never know. If you are 10
exactly.
kilometers ahead, and there is still like 50 kilometers to go and you are not on your final glide, well,
Yeah.
anything can happen.
Exactly. I really do agree. And it was really the case on race 5 this afternoon. A lot of pilots, including myself, took a lot of risk attacking, trying to get a very good thermal for the last 400 kilometers. We are trying to get the one, and we didn't get the best one. And others got the best one behind, and they gained 5 minutes. Uh, Compared to us, it was absolutely crazy to follow. Honestly, this arrival. So, as you said, it's really a big change for everyone, for the pilots and for the people watching. because it's never done until the end. And I think it's going to be the same, hopefully, this afternoon. Tonight in this race, because the cloud base is not that high, and there are a lot of variometers everywhere, so a lot of thermals, so you can really select your variometer. So it's really interesting to follow.
Yeah, it always depends on like which end of the stick you get, because you could be in the lead, and you then you get in trouble, and then you see a bunch of pilots who are 10 kilometers behind you that are just flying above you, just like laughing at you going towards the finish line. Or
Exactly.
it could be the other way around. You were just trailing 10 kilometers behind. There's really fast pilots, and then you suddenly see them somewhere
Mm.
on the at the bottom of the valley, struggling to even climb, and then with a big smile on your face, you just fly above them, which is always great. So it's and again, as you fly, you will probably experience both situations many times. So yeah, something to get used to in Condor 3. Yeah, looks like we've got a view from
Yeah,
somebody's cockpit.
that's from Tatar, but I don't remember his competition number, and he's flying, as you can see, with the other guys. Sisteron on his left, Sisteron City on his left, and Sisteron Airfield right in front of him. Or you can see the finish line right there. That they will have to cross in about 1 hour, 1 hour and 30 minutes from now. So very interesting, very nice clouds around him, nice cloud street. So I'm really surprised to have both options that are really good. Actually, the one in the valley is really good, and the one on the ridges on the right is quite good as well. And it's pulling 2-3 meters per second, and 4, and even 4.5. So it's quite good, quite good.
Yeah, that is a pretty good thermal, and he also had a group of pilots ahead of him who were already thermaling. So he was in a kind of comfortable situation because he could either climb here because this is a pretty good climb, or if not, just join the others under the cloud ahead of him.
Yeah, very good options for the pilots.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what happened with Alpha 33, because to be honest, he was rushing to he was doing some work in the house, and he was rushing to get
Really?
on time for the race.
I,
And
I
I
didn't
did see
see him
him.
in this server. Maybe he's flying another one.
I think he was in the serve at the beginning of the race. I think
Okay.
that I just saw him for somewhere, so I just wonder what's happening. I hope that rushing to get on time for the race worked out for him, and he's somewhere in a safe, reasonably good position.
We will see
Yeah,
in a few moments. I think we're staying on this view to see what's from the inside. We're back with Moritz, and yeah, if Timothée, if Alpha 33 is there with us, maybe we can have a look at what he's doing. But if he's not there, he's not there.
he's not there. Yeah, of course,
Uh,
he's not
yeah,
there. Okay,
okay. You
maybe
can
that was just my imagination that I saw him on the serve at the beginning of the race.
You can see the finish line right there on the left with the airfield of Sisteron, and they will need to cross this finish line at 560 meters in 1 hour, 1 hour and 30 minutes from now. So they
So
still
what?
have some kilometers to fly.
So there's no way to hack the logger and flight computer, just that you've already turned the other 10 points and just go
Uh,
left and cross the finish line. That's it.
no, I don't
No,
think so.
that's a shame. So they will still have to work hard for another hour.
Yeah. Yeah, the longest task of the event taking place right now, and they are crossing the Durance Valley. It's not easy to do to go to Luc Andiwa. You will see it's a bit tricky from time to time, this area for the pilots.
Yeah, and speaking of the length of the task, a task like this in Condor 2, that was just normal. 300 kilometers was just a
Yeah,
normal task which people could fly very quickly.
yeah.
And I think again Condor 3 brings those cross country speeds a little bit closer to what's achievable
Yeah,
in real world.
exactly. I really do agree with that, and we are setting very good conditions. Like for the competition right now, it's been very good condition. Even this with, let's say, this low ceiling, it's not that low. Huh? Okay, it's still very good. You have very good cloud streets and so on. So they fly fast, and in real life they would fly probably at the same speed, 150 kph average. I think at the end of the day, really good conditions. So I really do agree. And before in Condor 2, it would have been what, 170, 180. It was crazy. Ridges were overpowered and it destroyed kind of everything, and there were not enough sink in between the thermals as well. So it's really much better for everyone. Yeah. Just coming back on what we were talking about 15 minutes ago about the CC rating and so on, for the pilots who are flying in real world and who are watching us for the first time. So in Condor, we don't have an IGC ranking which lists the pilots depending on their results in the competition, but we have the CC rating, CC for Condor Club, because Condor.club is the website that hosts the competitions and that scores all the flights for 10, 15 years, probably. With it's a big website for all the pilots flying multiplayer on Condor, and there is let's say an official IGC virtual ranking there, which is the CC rating, and you can fly competitions with or without the CC rating right there. So you need to have a look and select your competitions there.
Yeah, and I think it also works for people who maybe don't necessarily. I think that I saw this somewhere on the forum or in one of the discussions. Somebody mentioned this, which I didn't really think about before. Is the fact that pilots don't necessarily have time to
Yeah,
participate in many races in a given competition, which means that if somebody can only participate in, let's say, half of the races, this particular pilot has got the pretty slim chances of winning or being in
yeah,
top three in any competitions, which could be a little bit demoralizing if somebody feels that they are experienced, they're really skilled glider pilots, and they can never pretty much end up high in a competition. That could be, that's not particularly nice. But because of CC rating, just participating in a couple of races here and there, if somebody consistently scores well in those races, they will climb the ranks, and they will get close to the top of the CC rating ladder, which I think is a great chance for those again who do not fly regularly and cannot compete. Like this competition, for example, is a great idea, but unfortunately, with the number of races that have to be done over the weekends, not everybody can participate. But again, just partaking a couple of races here and there, they can build their points and treat pretty much every race as a part of a very long competition.
yeah, exactly, exactly, Vitold. And well, yourself, Vitold, you are one of the top 10 pilots, if not one of the top three of the best pilots in the world on Condor. And you know all those rules and things about the rating and how to get points. But for the people just starting and being on multiplayer for even 1 or 2 years, just joining us on Condor 3, it's a long way before you can manage to get to the top 10, let's say, of CC rating. So you have time to experience the system and how it works, how you score, and to get a lot of experience on Coder 3. And then you come to the FAI events and you try to score even more points, and then to win one race one day, and then to try to be consistent as much as you can along the events that are proposed and offered along the year. And then it will come step by step, as Vitold say, and afterwards you will have to beat Vitold. So the final bosses are there. So you need to come and train to be able to beat them. And yeah, we are looking forward to unveil as well the schedule of 2025, but we are waiting for some news, so we cannot uh, unveil anything. But tomorrow we will probably unveil the next date for a two-seater event and unveil a few more things. So I hope you will be there tomorrow. I won't be there tomorrow. Maybe I will be there tomorrow evening, but that's not sure. But Jean David and maybe Vitold will be here tomorrow evening. So it will be a nice race again in on Slovenia 3 landscape.
Yeah, and again, I'm really happy to see a lot of new pilots. For example, here we see Mateusz Muda, who also one of the Polish pilots. He joined our little group not so long ago, and already doing well in this kind of competitions where we've got some really experienced pilots flying. So well done. I would say that in terms of CC rating for the beginners, pilots who just started, consistency is very important to be able to reach the finish line without crashing, without outlanding. If you fly carefully, you will climb the CC rating ladder very quickly. Of course, for those on the top, it's really challenging because even one really low position can be very costly in terms of points.
Hmm.
But like I said, it's great to see a lot of new pilots, and I would also like to say that, like I just mentioned, Mateusz, I think he's done a made a great decision because he joined our little group. The group of Condor pilots who talk to each other quite regularly. We obviously talk to each other whenever we fly in competitions and things like that, and this exchange of ideas, and guys in Condor are usually very friendly and very willing to help newcomers. So I would say that it doesn't really matter in what country, in what part of the world you are starting. I would suggest that you should try to get in touch with some pilots from your country. They probably have some sort of group on Discord, maybe on Facebook or somewhere. Just get in touch with them. Start talking to other pilots, and by doing that, you can gain experience and improve your skills very quickly. And sometimes people are refraining from starting in competitions. They think like, oh well, I just
It's
started
not for
flying in
me.
Condor. I'm not for me. I'm just too weak. I haven't. No, don't be like the best way to learn and the quickest way to learn competitive flying like this is by participating in competition. So my two pieces of advice would be find some other people to fly with and join the competition as soon as you can, because that's the best and quicker way to improve.
You're the best commentator, Vitol, because I'm just gonna bounce back on what you said, because I'm actually currently building a directory list of all the communities. I'm trying to do that. I think I can get 15, but I'll try to get as many as I can communities from every country in the world, so that if you start flying Condor 3, you would go on the Condor forum or on our website, which is virtualgliding.fai.org. You can see that top left of your screen, virtualgliding.fai.org. You already have a lot of information to know how to join us. You have the Discord, you have Condor Tree that you can discover there, and then go onto the Condor Tree website to buy it. You have a lot of things to have a look at if you want to join us. And indeed, next step is to have the directory with everyone's community, so that you can join a local community from your country or your region, and then try to fly with those guys. They will be very friendly, as Vitold say, and then you will be able to join us later on when you get some more skills to do the competition. So step by step always, but it's coming very quickly. It's quite easy, I would say, in the end, to fly with a glider. You just need to take some time and learn, but it's quite easy. Anyone can do it. So please join us. Be welcomed.
Yeah,
We
and
are going
having
to turn. Yeah.
Yeah, and having some help, just to finish this point, and just with a little bit of help, you can make a really quick progress. There's a bunch of guys who started just a couple of years ago, and they're already like in top 10, top 20 of
Mhm.
the Counter Club rating. Yes, but as you mentioned, let's get back to the race a little bit, because let's not forget that we are racing over here and see what is the current situation. I
Yeah.
think that Marcin May has done quite well. I thought that maybe he will fall a little bit behind flying on the left side,
Mhm.
but looks like the path on the left turned out to be pretty much the same as the path on the right.
Yeah.
They joined together, and I think Marcin is with the other guys with close to Kuba Kuba,
Oh yeah,
not
David
far ahead.
Redman and so on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
David Redman. There's Marcin over there.
Oh,
There's Kuba. We've got over here. We've got Chris, also not
that's
that
true.
far away. So it looks like Marcin pretty much was able to join the others. So, like we said, we were kind of deliberating which path was better, left or right. Uh, Looks like they were both kind of similar.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is quite
Exactly.
amazing that sometimes we fly 300 kilometers, people are taking completely different routes, and then we cross the finish line and there's 3 seconds difference.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or even sometimes the people arrive to the finish line in exactly the same time, in the same second. There's only like tenths of seconds difference.
Can
But
you?
I'm quite
Sorry.
impressed, and I must say with Giannis over here, he's been, I think, close to the lead or leading the race for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Looks like, despite the fact that he doesn't have any people ahead of him indicating where the strong lift is, he's doing a really great job. Frank, of course, following him, also in a great position, marching. And we've got, who do we have on the left side? 330. Is that? I don't want to guess. I think it's Nico. Is it? Can we
In
just have?
330, yeah,
Yeah,
Nico Bianchi,
Nico.
if I'm
Yeah,
not
there you
mistaken.
go. So Nico also doing quite well. We've got Delta Echo Tango quite high.
Yeah. I took another route, which I like as well. It will be really high compared to those guys when reaching Lucandiwa, maybe.
Yeah, if we could maybe have a look a little bit behind what's happening behind this guy. So how much? Yeah,
Echo Delta Charlie November. Sorry, the clouds are really thick today, so it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
really for the overall view of the situation, but that's the way the weather has been set.
yeah. So it looks like
Oh, you very close, very close. Yeah.
the group has stretched quite a bit now.
Sierra, Sander Tepstra took another route. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, Sander was in the lead, right,
Yeah.
for quite a bit. So it would be
Yeah.
interesting to see. Oh, that's a great view. So looks like, and where is the 10 point? Is it far away?
No, it's close to Delta 93 right there, but we
Okay,
don't have. I think
just
we don't
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
the.
Okay, yeah, we don't have the task on the on
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, okay. So Sander is doing a little bit of a detour to the left, but well,
I think too big. Oh
if he
no,
will,
I the turn point. You follow Delta 93. You go northwest, and you see two mountains and a road and a river, and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
I think the village right there. I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
right
okay.
there,
So
Lucandiwa.
yeah, so
Indeed.
it's not a big detour. So I think that he's still doing all right, pretty much the same as the guys on the right. So if he's got a nice cloud street, this will be also a quite good path. And
Yeah,
now we will see Yarmo, Julia Kilo Kilo.
with
And
Delta Echo Tango. Yeah,
yeah, they will. I'm not sure how high they are, but they might be.
2,100 meters so
So
far.
that's yeah, that's quite good. So they might possibly join the leading group somewhere close to the 10 point.
Yeah, I agree.
Delta Kotanga, I think, decided to stop and maybe climb a little bit higher before continuing. So yeah, but majority looks like have chosen to just go straight towards the 10 point,
Mhm.
following the leading group.
So the pilots started a little bit more than 1 hour ago. 1 hour and 8 minutes ago, they started the race. They've flown 150 kilometers, so let's say 140 average max for the pilots, even a little bit less. And the task length is 293 kilometers, so there's still a long way to go, let's say, but we are more than halfway through the race right now. I think the finish glide will be quite nice for them. I think.
Yes, we've got a few pilots in this group that maybe we haven't mentioned before. For example, got, who do we have over here? We've got Norbert Kies. We didn't mention Norbert. Norbert is a very experienced counter pilot. He flew all the way back in Counter One. He also participates a lot and helps community a lot. I know that,
Yeah.
with organizing events and hosting some races, things like that. Great guy. We also have, I don't know, Echo Delta. Who was that? That was in behind. We had the,
Um,
yeah, and again, apologies, guys. Unfortunately,
Moritz.
I'm not Moritz. Yeah, Moritz in a pretty good position as well. Not that far away behind the leading pack.
Can we have a view from the from below, please, just to have a look on the clouds? No, no, from yeah, thank you. Uh, just three quarter like this, just to have a view on the clouds street going to Lucandiwa.
Yeah, unfortunately, my head is in the way. I'll move away.
No worries. Just a bit more up, team. Yeah, like no, 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 the other way around. The other way around. Just to have a look towards standpoint. Yeah, right there. Don't move. Perfect. Sorry.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some nice clouds. They can follow this ridge a little bit to the left, and it looks like there is Cloud Street almost. Oh no, there's a bit of a gap, but I think they can go a bit to the right. There's those little clouds above the hills near to the valley. I think that they should be able to reach the cloud base. Sorry, the next endpoint will no problems whatsoever. Uh, Reek is, I think, a little bit lower. I thought that maybe they will be able to be quite high, following the mountains on the right. And there is no clouds directly ahead of him. He will still need to fly for a bit of the, well, travel a bit of distance before he can reach next cloud street or next good lift. So that is a little bit unfortunate for him.
Can we have a view on the right side to see what's in front of him? Timothée, for a minute, please. Thank you. Yeah, perfect. So
Okay, so he will join this cloud street, and that should take him nicely to the 10 point.
let's have a look. Yeah, a nice cloud street in the end to temple. Can we have a look at Sander Sierra X-Ray Sierra, please? Who was flying? We took another option. So 2001. So he's almost at the cloud base. Probably if he's stopping here, it can be a good idea because it will be much higher than the others.
Yeah,
We
well,
need
the
to
thing is that
get.
he would probably like to fly now just directly towards the 10 point, and there is no clouds in that direction.
Yeah,
So, as we've discussed previously, it's probably a good idea to just stop,
yeah.
just refill your energy, just gain as much as you can, and then dash towards the 10 point.
Mhm. I agree. It's going to be interesting. I think they will merge again later on. Almost 2,300 meters for Sander. Really good. And he's leaving. Maybe we did make a small detour from to the left, but I'm not sure. I think he will go straight indeed. Very good.
Excuse me, I think that he's just too close to the 10 point
Yeah,
to fly any further following those. At some point, you have to decide to go to the 10 point. You can't just follow the cloud street forever, unfortunately.
yeah. We would love to, but
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes. Yeah,
Well, sometimes the cloud street leads directly towards the 10 point, but if not, then, well, at some point you have to leave it.
exactly. Yanis, one of the leaders of this event at 2,100 meters, so quite high. And not flying too fast, 182 kilometers per hour. So that's quite acceptable. And it's going to be interesting to go to turn country because there will be several options, and the wind is coming from the north of Pic de Bure, and the cloud base is higher there, I think. But there is an overdevelopment, meaning that you may have showers of rain, I think, if I am correct right there. So we will see.
So we'll be flying east pretty much now, right?
Exactly. Going from the west to the east, exactly, towards Savine. Well done, Frank Schwetzfeger, turn point two. Luc Andiwa right now. And we have Yannis second place on turn point two. Congratulations to the German pilots right here.
Again, I'm not absolutely sure. I'm so apologies if if I'm making a mistake, but I think that Yanis flew maybe not as many races
Yeah, I
as
think so.
the
I checked
leaders.
as well. I think he flew only 3 races. So
So I
he's
think he's in a very good position, and he should be
a
considered to
leader.
be one of
Yeah,
the lead,
yeah, yeah,
potential leaders of the competition. Because
yeah,
you have to remember, sometimes when you look at the results on Condor Club and you see somebody in the first place, it is also important to consider how many races they've already flew.
yeah,
Because if somebody is behind, but they flew, let's say, if somebody's behind by 400 points, like in the fifth position, but they flew one race fewer than the leaders, it's quite likely that they will score another 500 or more than 500 points and
yeah.
will eventually overtake the leaders. So that's pretty much the situation with Giannis. He's not in the lead of the competition, but
Mhm.
he's got one more race compared to the others that he will add some points to his overall score. So he is in a great position to win this competition.
Yeah, exactly. I checked again. So Kuba and Yanis have flown 4 races, but the others have flown 5 races so far. So indeed, and we take the overall 6 out of the 8 best results. So they will have tomorrow to score a lot of points. So it's good. It's
Yeah,
very good for them.
and even I think obviously if you're optimistic and you think that you could score 1,000 points, because that's the maximum number of points,
Yeah,
anything can happen. If you've got a one more race and you score 1,000 points, another pilot who's in the lead might be unlucky, outland or stuff, or something like that could potentially happen. Because again, Condor 3 is quite tricky. It's very easy to get in trouble. And there you go, one race and situation can change dramatically, can change completely.
wow, wow, wow. Nice views. And I was hoping that Alexander would not pull on David Redman here. Very tricky situations. Sometimes you fly really close to others when you're racing like this. And you see, it's very difficult to go to Lucan d'Ivoire. In real life as well, it's not easy at all. They managed it very well because we are following the leaders who are flying the best and have a lot of experience. But you can see that a lot of pilots were kind of stuck to go into the Baronies. That's the area where we fly with now, where we fly in now, sorry, which is west of Serres and Aspre. And this is not easy to get in and out. So you need to have the technical abilities to do that in gliding, and it's not easy at all. So congratulations to everyone who will turn this turn point to today, because it's not an easy one, even with this weather. Let's get back to the race with Alexander leading here with David Redman, Marcin May, Kuba, 330. So it's yeah, a really good group right here. And Moritz is flying with us. Really nice cloud again. We're in the middle of the afternoon right now in the simulator, so really nice thermals
And
for everyone.
yeah, and Moritz can see that the guys above him are thermaling, so we could already see that he started deviating a little bit to join this thermal, and that's exactly what we were talking about previously. The help that you can get from other pilots. Again, information is key in gliding, and of course, and to be honest, I quite like this idea. I had a couple of discussions with different condo pilots. There are different kind of like views on that. Some people think that, for example, the visibility of the icons should be switched off so you don't see where the other pilots are flying.
Mhm.
But I'm well, definitely against that idea. I think that being able to see other pilots is just a part of the sport. Is the
Yeah.
same in the real world.
In real world, it's the same. You don't have the Marcin May on top of the glider, but you have your FLAM, your LX computer, and you have the FLAM, which gives you a lot of information about the pilots 20 kilometers away, and so
And the other thing is that even the best VR headsets are still not close to the real like eye resolution. So in a real world, you can actually see a glider from, like you said, you don't necessarily know who the pilot is, but you
yeah,
can see a glider from quite a few kilometers.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I think that having icons set to something like 5-6 kilometers is actually quite nice. Of course, if it's set to something like 25 and the race is not regatta, then it's not particularly good because you can see
Yeah,
where different pilots are flying, and I think that this kind of spoils the race a little bit. But in regatta race, something like 5 kilometers, I think that is really nice because you can feel, and the other thing is that you can feel the other pilots around you. You know,
yeah,
if you with 0 kilometers visibility, when you feel like you are flying offline, it's just not as pleasant experience. I would say it's
exactly.
not as exciting as when you know that there is a glider 3 kilometers ahead of you, and
Yeah.
you are now racing
and,
for
and,
for
and
the first place.
you can be in the pressure with that, but you can set the pressure on someone as well with seeing everyone around you. You know where everyone is, and you can for sure set the pressure on someone that is in front of you to try to mm, have him make a mistake. But it can be the exact opposite as well. So it's really exciting for the pilots. I agree
and
with you.
and and it also adds another layer to the competition because sometimes you see a pilot making a particular decision. For example, they decided to go to the left, and your plan from, I don't know, 5 minutes ago was to go to the right, and then suddenly you see everybody turning the other way, and now you have to make a decision. What do I do? Do I stick with them because maybe they know better, or am I going to just stick to my plan? Am I going to just be consistent and just follow my plan and do whatever I plan to do? And we can see
Is it
this all the
is it
time. Different pilots, even the best pilots, are not immune to that. Very often this kind of sheep mentality where you see pilots flying in a particular direction, you follow them, and after the race you think like, why on earth have I made this decision? Like,
yeah.
my plan was completed, why did I do that? So it's just part of the sport, it's part of the competition, to develop eventually this immunity to this kind of psychological phenomenon that it's just very tempting to just follow the others.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're flying in a group of, well, let's say you are on 10th position right now, you have 9 guys in front of you. Indeed, they are all going to the left and you wanted to go to the right. And it might be the time for you to say, oh, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it's a big opportunity for me because all those guys, they are going to a way I would not particularly go if it's a good one. But I think on the right side, it's a better one. So maybe it's my time to take the opportunity to take the lead if I have a better option than them, or at least to catch them. So it's always very interesting to have indeed the view on what the others are doing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, what we can see now on the screen, we see Rick being quite low, and as we can see, he had to turn around, go back from where we came from, and that's why, unfortunately, this is kind of situation is very costly in terms of the
Of
race
time, yeah,
result.
yeah,
Yeah, and time. That's why what I've mentioned before, that especially if you're starting in competitions, you really need to be careful. And if you need
yeah,
to try to fly as conservatively as possible, because maybe climbing in a weaker lift will cost you, I don't know, maybe 15, maybe 20 seconds,
yeah.
but not making a particular mountain pass will cost you 20 minutes.
Yeah, at least exactly, and that's what I explained a few minutes ago. This area is difficult, even in
Yeah.
real life, and it's difficult to get in and to get out. It was easy for him to get in, and maybe it was too easy. He gained confidence, and he didn't climb to get out of this area to go back in the valley near Aspre and Serre. So very easy because then indeed you lose 20 minutes. You need to go down the valley and maybe we'll have to outland in one of the fields near Lucandiwa. So it's a very difficult valley to go in. Very
and
interesting what we have on the screen here with the clouds, and it looks like a very good one, very good thermal.
Yeah, and this is very very instructive that these guys who were actually quite high, they decided to stop and climb anyway because they understand that altitude is the key in this area, that they cannot afford to be too low because that could potentially end the race for them. I'm pretty sure that everybody in this group is now thinking about winning the race. They, and rightfully so, because they're all in a very good position here. But despite of that, they decided to climb just to be safe. Looks like we had Yanis decided to push on Echo Yankee. I think this was, I'm not sure if he stopped here with the other guys. I think that was a little bit risky. Yeah, as we can see, I'm not sure if he will be able to catch a climb near. Is this Pic de Beau?
Yeah, it's Pic de Beau right in
Yeah,
front of them.
so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you will manage to find the climb there. I would say maybe, but if I was in his position, I would be a little bit worried. I would be flying towards this mountain, and I would be just wondering: am I going to find some lift there, or am I too low? It's not very obvious anymore. But the guys behind him, they will be quite confident that they will arrive high enough to find another good lift and just carry on. So next couple of minutes is going to be quite interesting. I'm
Yeah.
reading because again, Giannis was doing great until this point, and again, maybe he's still high enough to climb away in a strong lift.
So
Uh,
right here, we told the wind is blowing from the north. The ceiling is higher, but it's not easy at all. This area
how
is not easy to manage.
how strong the wind is,
Um, I need to start Condor again
and,
to have it.
but
I
was it
think
like very strong or like
it's
10 or
I think
12?
it's 21. I think 21 kph from the north. Yeah,
Okay, because this is an interesting situation because you've got the wind blowing from the north and then
yeah,
the sun shining on this side on this mountain probably from like southwest
yeah.
from the direction from which Yanis is approaching the mountain.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult to say. He might be able to catch a leaf that is just climbing on the sunshine, just stuck to the mountain and going up on the sunshine, sorry, sun is side of the mountain. But yeah, we will see.
So indeed, I checked again. The wind is from 352 degrees for 20 kilometers per hour, and the ceiling is 250 meters higher than the cloud than the base ceiling that we have. So
So,
it's much higher. Well, it's almost
so
300 meters higher and high mountains and so on, but is not on the good side here. So it's going
yeah,
to
so
be difficult.
Yanis is pretty much on the lee side, right?
Yeah,
He's on the sunny
exactly.
side, but on the
Yeah,
lee side of the mountain.
exactly. So it's not going to be. It's not supposed to be good
Yeah,
unless there is a convergence and it works well. Sometimes it is working in this area in Condor and in real life. So we will see if it can work or not for him.
yeah.
We'll
Well,
see.
he's got something like 2 meters climbing. Maybe there is a little bit of. I'm not sure if what will happen if you can fly all the
Yeah.
way around,
Maybe you
but
can see what's above any cumulus. Yeah, they're far. Oh, yeah, but yeah, it's not easy for him. I would have stopped earlier and maybe try to go to the north
yeah, so
side of the.
that's exactly why I was a little bit worried about his decision to push on without stopping where the other guys have stopped. But again, because again we are watching these guys for like few minutes here and there, it's difficult to exactly say what his situation is. So by no means I'm not trying to criticize his decision because I understand that maybe he just flew under the other guys and he might be just slightly to the left onto the right of the thermal, didn't catch it. But again, if you want to win a race, you can't just stop and search for thermal and spend 30 40 minutes 30 40 seconds or a minute just to see if there's a thermal there. So guys who are trying to win the race, if they don't hit a good thermal, they will simply not stop, and that is a correct strategy. And maybe that was the case with Giannis. He just didn't find anything, so he had pretty much no choice but push on. But as a result of that, he ended up in a slightly difficult situation. We can see Frank over here, much higher. I think that he should be able to find some more lift on his way towards Pic de Beau, and then he is going to be able to fly on the pretty much over the top,
Yeah.
where the thermals are going to meet with the wind from the north. They will produce a nice lift. And yeah, I'm just thinking that maybe the cloud base is not particularly high,
Yeah.
so he
Mm,
might not be able to fly above Pic de Beau. But now this
exactly.
is also interesting
North
decision.
of south, I think with the cloud base that they have, it will get he will get some energy because he is going to be quite close to the cloud base anyway. So I think
Yeah,
it can
yeah,
be okay.
I would think that he should probably have a better chances of climbing, even though he's also going to fly on the lee side. But because he's closer to the top of the mountain, he's above the forest line. The rocks over here should be quite hot, producing nice thermals. And unfortunately, as we can see, Giannis did not manage to climb.
Yeah. So what's in
So
front of him? Not a lot of options. Yeah, it's not going to be easy to. So you have gap, and you have a few alternating fields on the right side for him. So it's okay. He's still flying safely. I think he can reach gap, would be low, but he has alternating field just right on his right ear, so it's quite okay. I think he didn't
and,
see that the wind was not the same in this
and
area.
yeah, Antoine, just sorry to interrupt you, but we had just a very interesting situation over here. I'm not sure if you saw. Look at Marcin's varia, like 4 meters per second. They both Frank and Marcin are just following pretty much the footsteps of Yanis.
Yeah,
The only difference is that they were like maybe 300 meters higher, and we are consistently climbing 2.5 3 meters without stopping, going up all the time, while Yanis pretty much well didn't he didn't find anything on this
mhm.
mountain. So that's exactly what we were talking about, that just few 100 meters difference
I
sometimes is just crucial.
I think it's raining right there on the east side of the mountain. I need to make a
Oh,
detour. Can you zoom again, please?
yes, it is raining, so they will
It
probably
is
need to.
raining. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it was a good idea to, maybe at the beginning of Peak de Boer, when they had really strong lift, maybe it was worth making like taking 2 or 3 turns to just climb to the cloud base before pushing on.
Alpha Echo Echo right there. Well placed. He's well
Yeah,
placed just
Alexander.
behind Frank, so it's a good position. Yeah,
Yeah, Alexander. He was consistently in the close to this, to the leading pilots of the race for majority of the race. I think, as we were jumping with our camera to different pilots, I think that in the corner of my eye, I saw him pretty much all the time. So he's doing very well today. And I just wonder if Yanis will be able to recover and find some good leaf. I think there are some clouds ahead of him, so yeah, he's still got a good chance of climb away.
nice.
He's got some advantage in terms of distance. So if he could find a good climb now, I think that he will be in a good shape. He would just be
Yeah.
joined later on by Marcin and Frank.
We have
Sander,
the
but this is interesting. We've got Sander and Nico flying on the northern side of the peak,
exactly.
because I think that they were hoping to get a little bit of a ridge lift, which is also a valid idea. That's also quite good idea.
And we can have a look at Thunder right now. So we've had the overall view right here that you could see. And for Thunder, it's not that good because the thermals were more powerful on the other side, as you can see.
Yeah, that's another thing in Condor 3, that sometimes you can fly on the good side of the mountain, but because there's a thermal on the other side,
And they are so strong. I mean,
yeah, and the strong
they are,
thermal,
yeah,
it produces a sink on
yeah,
the good side, let's say, of the
yeah,
mountain. So that's probably what's happening over here.
yeah,
So, and that's a bit unfortunate, because
yeah.
to be honest, I would also be tempted to fly on this side of the mountain.
Same.
To maybe I just spend too much time flying in Condor 2, and maybe I'm just trusting Ridge Lift a little bit too much. But yeah, that's something probably that is worth changing. But he's now flying towards. I think I like his decision now,
Exactly.
because he's flying to some. He's above the top of the mountain. Those mountains ahead of us. There is a really nice cloud street. As you said, the conditions over here should be a little bit better. So yeah, I quite like what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I like his route. I liked as well the route of 330 that we are back. Yeah, Nico Bianchi right here, a big detour, but he's had a nice ridge right here. I think there is a nice cloud street and a
Yeah,
good thermal right here. It might be the best one of the day for him. Let's see. Let's stay with Nico Bianchi right here,
yeah. I
2,350 meters.
Yeah, the initial indication is obviously a little bit exaggerated,
Yeah,
because that includes the pull up. But as soon as he will establish in the climb, we will have a reasonable estimation of how fast he's climbing, and that's pretty good. I think that this is now, yeah, over 4 meters per second. That is a great climb.
yeah.
a very good decision. So Sander following the same? No, Sander's a little
No, he
bit
was
to
yeah,
the
exactly. You can
a
see
little
him.
bit further to the east. Yeah, yeah, I can see him now. Yeah. So that worked pretty well for Nico. He will be in a very good position now.
And to cross this valley as well is not easy at all. Like those
Yeah,
are
yeah,
the last ridges before you need to jump on the next ridges. It's a big valley as you can see, huh? Very flat. You don't have a lot of things, so it's not easy at all.
yeah. And I'm just afraid that there's very little going on in terms of the thermal activity in the valley, and Janus here is
Yeah,
arriving quite low.
yeah.
Uh,
I wouldn't go there. I would go like in the valley and just try to get a cumulus somewhere because it's not going to be easy at all for him. And here we've seen a thunderstorm, a few lightnings, and it's raining on
on
those
those
mountains.
mountains,
So
yeah. I'm just thinking about. I'm not sure what Machi is trying to do because he's just flying in the middle of the valley.
there was a small cumulus
There was a
just
smoke.
above him. I think.
All
Yeah,
right. Okay.
exactly.
Right. Now it makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay. So he will probably just fly under those cumulus clouds and then turn a little bit left to go towards the mountains, which have quite nice and promising clouds. But as you also said, there's a bit of rain there. So yeah. But if they stop over here and climb, there is a chance that the rain will stop and they may arrive to the next mountain range high and with no more rain.
that's something very interesting as well in Condor 3, much more than in Condor 2. The weather is working, let's say, in the background, and sometimes you're rushing, trying to get the best thermal, and it's building in front. You think it's building in front of you, but it's building behind you, and you never get the good thermal, and it's only the guys behind who are getting the very good and strong thermal because you are too early, let's say, on this route, and it's just not for you right now.
Yeah, you're
So
kind
it's
of like not in phase with the
yeah, you're not in
with
phase. That's
with
the
the with the with
proper
the lead. Yeah.
explanation. Yeah, with the weather.
So this is going to be quite interesting to see if Giannis is high enough to climb away here.
I'm not very optimistic. Let's keep an eye on him, but I think we can go back to Sunday or 330 to see what they will do because I think here it's going to be very difficult for Yanis, who flies
Yeah, I
very
want to
close.
be optimistic, and I wish him best to find some climb, but I know that I would be quite worried in his situation right now.
Yeah,
He's got this nice mountain just ahead of him. There could potentially be something. This relatively steep hill could potentially be triggering some thermals. Looks like he is trying to go a bit. Yeah.
no. Let's switch cameras.
So we could already see that he's kind of in a bit of a desperation mode because he would have never made this left turn here if he was like high enough. Yeah, Alexander again climbing over here with Marcin. Very good decision. They've got 2 point, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. What we were talking about previously. We know that we had some thermals of 4 or even above 4 meters per second. These guys, they've got a thermal of about 3, and they decided to stop because they understand that they've got a long valley to cross with very little clouds. There is a rain on the next mountain range, so it should pay off to just stop here, top up the altitude before actually going any further. David Redman is now going to join this
Yeah,
group as well. Again, there's still a long race. There's a lot can happen. I think that Alex just coming behind. I think that he was a little bit behind at some point. I think that he's made up a bit of distance to the leading group. So let's have a look behind what's happening,
exactly.
what we've got here.
I see Zulu Bravo Yankee, Sierra Whiskey
Yes,
Delta, and
yeah,
the thunderstorm is getting stronger on the Pic de Bure as well. More active, a lot of rain, and you can see the lightnings really. So it's not going to be easy for the ones who want to cross Pic de Bure right now. as well. Let's think about that. Maybe we can jump on Whiskey Romeo to have a look because it's very close to Pic de Bure, and you can see indeed some lightnings and rain again.
Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid that Piotr is here in similar situation to Yanis.
Yeah,
I think the Yanis was a similar height, but Piotr, I think, can see some people thermaling just in front of him, where the leading group, let's say, is. So I hope that he will be able to join them and be high enough to still catch that thermal. We also need to understand that with thermal activity, if thermal activity is high, the thermals have a limited lifespan. So I'm a little bit worried that he might not be able to just get to that thermal in time. That it will the thermal will die before he will be able to reach it. We've got Janusz Żak over here, unfortunately, also in a quite difficult situation, quite low. Maybe, well, there's a cloud. I think that the city that we can see ahead of us is Gap.
it's gap. Yeah.
Yeah, there is not this cloud over there, and I think that this could be potentially a last hope for Janusz. If he can get to that cloud, there is a chance that he will be able to climb away and well will save his race. Yanis, as we can see, Yanis got to that point, and he is very slowly and patiently trying to climb there. But that's exactly what we mentioned previously. He is going to lose quite a bit of time here, and it's just sometimes just a matter of one single decision of maybe not stopping somewhere or missing one thermal, and yeah, you can be uh, from the leading position to in trouble very quickly.
David Redman joining the Pioli Mountain, and we need to turn point 3 Savine Pont or Pont de Savine right there. And yeah, for Yannis, it's very difficult as you can see. What will David do?
Well,
It's
there's
going
two
to
options. He can try to go to the left and maybe behind this rain, or maybe even through rain. Sometimes, if the clouds are on top of the mountains like this, even if you fly through rain, you can still stay in lift. But it's a bit risky because if the lift is not there, then you will have something like 5 meters per second sink flying through through the rain. So yeah, that's what I like about Condo as well. That it's usually not worth flying through the rain. We can see. I think Frank is a little bit higher on the right. I think that Frank will probably go around this rain, and that's what David decided. He's a bit in this undecided. He thought for a second about going around it. Now he's flying into the rain.
yeah,
Maybe
it's right through the
yeah.
rain, I think.
Yeah, maybe he's thinking
It's rain,
actually,
yeah,
well, it's rain, but I don't care. There's going to be some lift here,
yeah,
so
exactly.
it's okay. I'll just go through
But
the rain.
it's rain for like 4 kilometers or so, or
Yeah,
at
but
least like.
we'll see in a minute
And
if he will sink quickly or not. Well, he's flying quite fast, obviously. So the
yeah,
sink rate, is 2.7 meters per second. But
I think
at 203 kilometers per hour, that's to be expected.
this is interesting. Do we have anyone who's tried to go? Yeah, Victor Limazulu has tried to go on the other side of the valley, right there. Oh no, he's still in the middle of the valley, so he
Yeah.
didn't try to go. I wanted to see if some guys who would like to try to go to the southern side here, but no one did that because the ceiling is higher, as I said here, so they are kind of attracted by the higher ceiling and the mountains here, but it's not easy. Sander is in a good position, and 330 is with Marcin May, Oscar Niner, Alpha Echo Echo. Let's get back to Sander, indeed. 2,300 meters. He's in a good position here.
He's in
Thanks to his,
excellent position because
yeah,
he will now be able. He's flying 210 kilometers per hour. He's going to pull up to end up at the over the top of those peaks.
yeah.
That's where the thermals are, and it looks like the rain has stopped. He will just follow this peaks, gaining energy continuously.
Yeah. I think so. And to me, the rain and the lightning seems to be on the lee side of this
Yeah.
mountain, on the south side of the mountain. So it looks quite good for him to go through this direction.
Well, looks like he was almost struck by the lightning. But
Just saying,
yeah,
not easy, but it seems like there is no
yeah,
rain on
but
this
there you
side.
go. 2 meters per second leaved. I again. My prediction would be that he will be just gaining height continuously, flying over those mountains. Looks like Marcin decided to go towards the mountains as well, while Frank, I think, decided to take a more direct route towards the 10 point. I think I like the idea of following the mountains and being as high as possible at this 10 point. Yeah, Kuba also decided to go
Oh,
directly
he's
to the
high.
10 point.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, but
1,900. Yeah, it's going. It's not going to be easy then to come back to Cisteron
yeah,
again.
I think that Kuba is a little bit low. I think Frank is in a really good position, being quite high. Kuba is flying quite fast, 200 kilometers per hour. So what? Where are we going after the standpoint?
After we are going in very near.
Towards Cicero?
No, it's Valenty Champ, which is an outlanding field north of Cisteron for like 15 kilometers maximum. And yeah, turn point for right there. And as you can see, they need to go in the valley towards Gap to go to Valenty. So you have two options: follow the lake or the south side of those mountains, or go to the north side of those mountains to go towards Gap and Valenty, and then we go straight to Cisteron, and they will need to fly 53 more kilometers right now. So we are 53 kilometers, 52 from the finish
Um,
right now.
do we have a minimal arrival
Yeah,
altitude?
560
So
meters.
560
Yeah,
meters. Okay, so they've got so
they
Cuba
need
is
to
about
climb.
1,300. So they're not on final glide yet.
No, 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 not from
Yeah,
yet.
and that's kind of what worries me a little bit because I'm just a bit worried that Cuba will not be able to reach the top of those mountains, which are towards the next 10 point.
Yeah,
On the
that.
other hand, Frank is a little bit higher, and he might be just high
Mhm.
enough to get there in a good position to catch
Yeah,
one of those one well thermal under one of those clouds. Looks like Cuba. It looks like he decided to go back to the
yeah,
mountain
yeah,
they
I'm
just came
surprised.
from. Well, this is in
Yeah,
his situation. Maybe he
yeah,
just realized that he's not going to be able to get to the top of the mountains, near the lake. So he decided to go to the mountains which are closer by to gain some height before continuing any further.
March in May, 2,200 meters is about to turn the turn point 3, which is Savine, Pont
Yeah,
de Savine.
yeah. Marcin is in a very good position. It looks like they are all going back towards the north. That nobody's going towards the. Or is it just perspective of the camera? No, I think Frank is flying. Actually, they all are just flying towards the next standpoint. It just
Yeah,
looked like Cuba was turning back towards those
yeah,
mountains, but now they are
yeah.
flying towards the next standpoint.
David Redman is going to the left to Morgon. We have a view
Yeah,
of David
yeah, he's
on the
going
other
to
side.
Big Morgon.
Oh, and
Big Morgon.
so many pilots are low here. Alex, Golf Echo 7, and so on. We need to have a look at Sierra X-Ray Sierra as well later on to see if he will end up much higher than the others or not. For Alex, it's going to be very difficult. And Sander is at 2,400 meters.
400. Yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful. He's almost leading the race, let's say. He's going to catch up Frank Schwertfeger.
yeah, that's quite close. It depends, like if Frank will be able to find a good climb. Uh,
Nico as well, very
yeah,
good.
yeah, but I think again, Marcin, I think, was in a very good position because
Yeah,
he just turned the 10 point. He was at 200 meters,
yeah,
2,200, so just 200 meters lower than Sander, but he's quite a few kilometers ahead.
yeah,
So I think that Marcin now is in a very good position. Marcin in very good position.
yeah. I agree. 2001. Maybe we can launch a new poll for the winner of the day. We have Alex here who is trying to get something. Maybe there's a small thermal because
Yeah,
everyone is kind of moving around here.
there was something. And maybe we could have a look at Giannis. Is how is Giannis doing? Did he manage to
Maybe outlanded.
qualify?
Do we have news of Yanis team?
Because I think this would be very instructive, especially for those new pilots who are watching us. Kind of what can happen, how quickly you can get in trouble if you just miss one thermal.
There we are, 1,600
Well,
meters. Is still kind of at the same altitude. Is like trying to get more energy, which he's doing, but it
yeah,
takes so much time to do that. And the others who are lower, it's done for them. It's very
yeah.
difficult.
But I think that he's still pretty much in the same position that he was like
Yeah,
right
exactly.
for 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
So again, guys, watch out. It's really pays off to stay high.
yeah. Charlie Romeo India, very well flown, Chris. Very well flown, and he will get out of this mountain on top. So it's really good. We can go back to Frank Schwetzweger, Martin May, and the leading pack because I see that Frank is going to take a thermal right here. He's trying something at least.
Well, the initial indication was 6 meters, but again, that was
Yeah,
probably a pull up. But I am pretty confident that Frank wouldn't stop if this wasn't a good thermal.
yeah. He's trying to find the core of the thermal right here. Martin May is joining.
I'm just a little bit surprised seeing Kuba flying a little bit further to the east. Was he too sorry to the south? Was he too low to join them?
Let's have a look.
He's just over
Yeah,
the lake, like to the south. Yeah, I think that he might have been just a little.
yeah. But now,
He was high enough to kind of join them.
yeah,
I'm a little bit surprised to see him
the
flying
wind
rather than trying to catch one of those clouds.
wind is coming from the southwest here for him now. So it's not that bad, but it would have been better indeed with Oscar Niner and Martin May.
So maybe he's got a sneaky idea of using a little bit of a ridge lift here, and then
Yeah,
maybe catch some strong lift on the other side, because that's also a valid idea.
yeah.
If you catch a climb at the beginning of the mountain range, then you fly above it without gaining the energy that is there just due to the ridge lift. So yeah, maybe that will work out, especially that we can see a nice cloud at the end of this little ridge. So maybe he will use a little bit of ridge lift to reduce his rate of descent. Then he will manage to get to the cloud at the end of it, catch a nice 5 meters per second thermal. The other important thing is that he's doing something different compared to the leading pack. We are relatively close to the finish line. So if he could make something different, which would actually work, well, that's how we can win the race.
So let's have a look because the people on Twitch are asking for the 2D view. They want to see the 2D views, to see all the servers, to see what everyone is doing. And you can see Kuba Kilo Juliet with actually Mike Delta Delta, the winner of the race 5 today, Patrick Medard. Can we have Mike Delta Delta on the right side of the screen, please, to see his altitude, just to see if he's in the same situation as Kuba or not. We have Alpha Echo Echo. Creso, in another server, Kilo Oscar is there at 1,300, so quite low, and Mal Delta Delta is very low as well, 1,300. So indeed, they are all in the same situations, the leaders right there, and you just have the group with Oscar Niner or Martin May who are stopping and climbing at 2,000 meters right now. 330, I see at 2,100 meters, so they are in a really good position. So yeah, let's see what will happen with Kuba and Patrick on another server. Davis Chapin's Delta Charlie. I don't see Delta Charlie
Yeah,
anywhere.
he is there. He is one, two, three, fourth, maybe fifth or sixth, just on the southern side,
Yeah,
light,
but
light, light
on the
blue.
right side,
He was just
1,100. 1100
1100. He
is
was he
really
was
low.
I looked at him like that was pretty much the first thing I looked at when we went to the 2D view. So looks like he's a little bit lower than Marcin or Frank.
Kuba. Yeah,
So Kuba is probably also a bit lower than,
yeah, it's
but yeah, again, Davis Chaplin's doing quite well in a competition. So it's always interesting to see, where these guys who are leading the competitions are in this particular race. So Davis a little bit lower.
Thank you for this 2D view, and we are back on Condor 3 server A, the main server with the best pilots right here. Sander Terpstra, 1,800 meters, following Marcin May, Frank Schwetzweger in Oscar Niner, Alpha Echo Echo. Kuba is climbing apparently right now,
Yeah.
or is trying to get something. So he's in good position, Kuba.
So I was just wondering, uh, did he manage to reach the promised land and find this nice 6 meters per second thermal at the end of this ridge? Well, he's climbing, but I think that the guys Frank and Marcin will join above him. Yeah, we can see already the Nico, Marcin, and Frank pulling up. So it was a good try from Cuba to do something different and maybe slightly outsmart the competition, but unfortunately it didn't quite work. But maybe he gained a little bit of distance by doing this. Alex is dropping water. Looks like he allowed himself to be a little bit too low and decided that with this distance to the finish line and a weak lift, a lighter glider will help. Zbyszek, I think he joined this reach slightly lower than Kuba and the others.
Mhm.
So he is in a little bit difficult situation as well, but he is on the southern side, and there's wind from the south, and the thermal should be forming on this side of the mountain. So maybe as he comes around, maybe he will be able to catch one of those thermals that produce these clouds that we can see ahead of us. Maciej, we've got Victor Lima Zulu. As we remember, I think after race 3 or 4, he was in the second place in the competition.
Yeah.
Then he dropped a little bit, but today again a strong race. Maciej is also a very experienced Condor pilot in the real world. He flies an ASW 20 in the real world here in sunny England, and he started flying in Condor 3 not so long ago. So it's great to see that he's already competing on a very high level and is fighting for top places in difficult competition like this against some very experienced Condor pilots.
We are back with Victor Lima Zulu. We see Sander going to the. So I like because Sander, as we were talking about, it 1 hour ago. Sometimes you need to take options, and Sander is on fifth or sixth place, and he's like, okay, I'm too far behind, so I'm going to take another option. I'm going to go to the ridges on the left, right here, because I think it's good, and you have nice cumulus, nice cloud streets. So I'm going to try to get the energy here to get to Valenti and then Cisteron. I think maybe 330 and the other guys are on final glide, so maybe that's why they went straight ahead. Most probably they're on final glide, but Sander is trying something else to try to catch them up. So it's really interesting for me.
Yeah, I like his idea. If he will manage to use the energy from this cloud street that formed along this mountain ridge, who knows? He might potentially be able to maybe not necessarily catch the leader, but maybe catch some of these guys ahead of him.
Yeah, exactly. At least maybe Kuba and 330 will be able to catch them up. But I like his option. It's very interesting for me.
Yeah,
to
the only thing
finish
is I'm watching his variants. I don't see much lift there, so that's a bit worried.
so far, but
That's a bit worrying, yeah, so far. But maybe that will change. Maybe he'll get to some
yeah,
clouds.
yeah, interesting. Alexander Ehrlich, very good flight today so far. 1,000 meters here. It needs to be 560 meters in about 25 kilometers from now. So
Do you think that he's high enough to?
not 25, 15 kilometers. 15. So 30 of glide ratio to achieve.
Okay, that should be achievable with the Anna 2, but I think that he's flying on the lee side now, and
Yeah,
there's quite a lot of seeing 3 meters per second.
yeah,
Yeah, 3 meters per second. I don't think that that's and flying 193 kilometers per hour with probably not fully ballasted
yeah.
the Diana 3. That's not going to give him a glide
No, no.
ratio of 30.
Frank Schwetzfeger is in a much better position, 200 meters above, and probably
Yeah,
going to lead the race until the end. Who is behind Frank? If we can have the view behind Marcin May, really
yeah,
well placed again.
yeah. But Marcin is a bit lower, and
Yeah,
Nico
but
is a bit behind. So at the moment, it looks like that Frank will be able to win this race.
yeah,
Kuba again is in a quite difficult spot. I hope that he will be able to reach the finish line with that altitude. Sander, it looks like it didn't work out for him. He decided to go to the lee side of the mountain now, to the northern side, and is not particularly high. So unfortunately, But that was a good try. I think it was a good idea to do something different to be able to catch the guys in front of him. So what's happening behind Sander? Like,
yeah.
where are the other guys?
Can we have a view on Yanes to see if he's been able to get out of his situation? He's been able to turn point three, so that's good. But he's at 1,300 meters, which is much lower than Kuba a few minutes ago. Mike Zulu is really low. I don't give him a chance to sorry to climb back. And Kilosia is on the reach right there. Mateusz Muda, yeah, it's going to be difficult. Let's continue with Niels Kiefer. Maybe you can zoom out a bit just to have a view of the pilots who are turning turn point three or close to turn point three right now. Thank you, Juliette Tango, Yanis Teteris, Victor Zulu 7. Okay, Norbert Kist is right there, joining the Jalinier Mountains, trying to join them at almost 2,000 meters, so quite good. Quite good. You will be able to join David Renman and the others. Echo Delta, and we have seen Oscar Niner who crossed Valenti and Alpha Echo Echo. Let's follow this finish down to 560 meters in Sisteron. So we did this race, Vitold, because it's been 11 years since the last final in Sisteron, the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix World Final in 2014, where Didier Haus from France won the race, followed by Sebastian Cava at
What?
Sisteron.
Not very surprising two places, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was a nice event, sponsored at the time by Breitling, which was quite cool. So yeah, 11 years ago in Sisteron. What a good flight from Franz Schwetzfeger today. And again this afternoon, and race 5 was really good, really consistent. I was flying as well. I could see his decisions and it was good. Sometimes I was taking over options to try to make the difference, but I could see that he was always taking very good decisions and is a really, really strong pilot. So congratulations, Frank, for your win today on race 6 and the overall leader of this FAI Esports Series 2025. Congrats, Frank.
Yeah, very well done to Frank. Yeah, very well done, Frank. Congratulations.
Martin May.
Consistent. Yeah, Marcin May in second position. Also very strong race.
Yeah.
Never in trouble. Always staying really high, keeping up with the leaders. We've got a very interesting situation over here. We've got Nico overtaking overtaking just before the finish
That's like
line.
Nico. Yeah, well done, well done. It's working, Nico. Well done,
So
well done.
that's yeah, that was a very impressive finish and pull up just before the finish line to get ahead. Kuba, well, he's got 70 meters, so he should be
He's
able to
good.
reach
Yeah,
the
he's good.
almost 200 kilometers per hour.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure that he's got a safe final glide.
yeah,
Otherwise, he wouldn't be flying that fast. So, okay, well done, Kuba. What's that? One, two, three, four, fifth
yeah,
place today.
yeah. I
But
agree.
not very. We must say that this is not a Grand Prix scoring. So
Yeah,
he's going to be just very few points behind the winners.
exactly.
So that's something worth keeping in mind. That
Mm,
over here, just getting ahead of somebody is not very well. Is not that beneficial because it's
exactly.
going to be just a very small difference in time, which means a very small difference in the number of points.
Mm. But so the number of finishers make a big difference in the scoring because the winner gets 1000 points and then you kind of get a reverse scoring with the places and the 1000 divided by the finishers and so on. So the more finishers you have, the uh,
The
mean,
smaller the
the
difference
smaller
between
the difference between pilots will be, and the fewer the finishers are, the biggest the difference of points will be between the finishers. So it's important if you are in the top 10 that there are a lot of finishers. But if you are in the first position, you want as less finishers as possible.
yeah, because of course the fewer the punishes, the finishes, the less points people behind you are going
Yeah,
to get. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, Sander made it to the finish line as well. Well done.
Well done, Sander. Very good
Congratulations.
flying. Yeah, very good flying. Very
And
nice.
can we have a look at the finish line now? Because I think that there was maybe a race between Victor Lima Zulu and there was another glider just next to him. I felt no. Oh
No,
no,
Charlie Romeo
the
Alpha.
no. I thought that maybe Charlie Romeo Alpha was close by, but no, they're quite much is quite ahead. And arriving to the finish line at the really strong position. Okay, well done, Maciej. Yeah, I just had a look at some of the messages. Looks like Arthur that I was asking about. He just messaged me that he didn't make it. His computer refused to cooperate tonight. So yeah, he did not participate in a race.
Well done,
Yeah,
Victor
well done,
Limassol.
Maciej.
Very good fight as well. Let's go to maybe David Redman and
Yeah,
the other guys behind.
I was going to
Nice.
suggest let's have a look what's happening with David.
Yeah,
David, 1,000 meters, he should be able to reach the finish
yeah,
line.
yeah. He's joining Valenti right now.
And
Echo
who's
Delta
ahead of him? Is he going to?
push.
That's going to be quite interesting because
Yeah,
we've got Echo Delta, Moritz slightly lower, I think.
yeah.
So now the question is Dave, or maybe not, maybe that was just my imagination.
Can we have a quick 2D view of the finish just to have a look on the other servers? But it's a bit too late to do that. Maybe you should have done that between the reporting point and finish, just to know who would be the real winner of the race. Let me have a look quickly at Condor.club if some
I
pilot
yeah,
was.
I was just going to suggest that maybe we could maybe from the other servers if you are watching the stream, if you already landed, it would be nice if you could send your flight to Condo Club. Then we could have a quick look and maybe have a better idea to who actually won the race.
Yeah, exactly. I see Mike Delta Delta here landed a few minutes ago. I think, yeah, when we compared 20 minutes ago, the traces, okay, Mike Delta Delta was leading with Cuba, but they were same altitude more or less. So Patrick needs a very good thermal to be able to beat Frank for this race. It's not easy to beat Frank. I think they were in a much better position. Oscar Niner, Marcin May. So I think they are the winners tonight. But it will be interesting to see on Condor.club.
Yeah, we got Davis Chaplin's just getting close to the finish line. So yeah,
Well done, David.
yeah. I
I think,
don't think he David is also relatively low, just 670 meters. I am not sure if he will be, but he's pushing it hard,
yeah, he's pushing
230 kilometers per hour.
because the valley is going down, huh? From Gap to Sisteron and then Saint-Auban, it's getting lower and lower.
All right, thank you very much, David, for the wave. He just waved his wings at us. So say hello. Yeah, well done, David. We are just wondering now if you are going to catch the glide ahead of you.
Delta. Yeah, I'm doubting about it because Eco Delta, I think, is pushing as well. There's not much difference between them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
okay,
going to be
that's
difficult.
it's going to be difficult. Yeah.
Well done, Moritz.
And then behind we've got Sierra Whiskey Delta and Zulu Bravo Yankee, I think as well. Maybe a little bit. Let's stay with these guys. So looks
Yeah,
like Moritz is
let's
going
see.
to get to the finish line before David. So well done, Moritz.
Well done.
Congratulations. A challenging task, quite a
Exactly.
few very difficult spots. You managed to avoid the trouble. Right. And also, thank you very much, Moritz, and
Maybe.
congratulations.
Oh, be careful there.
Right, let's have a look at Zulu Bravo Yankee, and there was also a little bit.
Oh,
Oh, Zulu
Francois.
Bravo Yankee is a bit low compared to
Oh, yeah.
Francois. Francois is
He's starting
kind.
to push.
Yeah,
Francois is
again,
high now.
Francois. I think Francois could have pushed a little bit earlier
Yeah,
because I think that he's got a comfortable final glide. He probably could fly almost close to VNE at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, we saw
Always
some
be.
other guys. Yeah. You can see his Bishak over here, 211 kilometers per hour, just at 600 meters, just scaring people in these buildings.
Exactly.
All right. And again, that's another thing that all these trees on the final glide, I think, is quite nice to have. Again, in counter to the competitive players, had pretty much everybody had trees switched off because it was not checked if the trees were present
Yeah,
in
you could
the
not
landscape
check
or
it.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah, but now with all these trees, it's nice to see nice landscapes with well, more challenges on final glides like this.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So yes, some people are asking, is there a live scoring somewhere over all servers and so on? So yeah, you need to go on condor.club, and when you go on condor.club, the website, gonna do the same. You click on competitions. You have several options, a badge and diplomas and so on. You go on competitions, then you scroll down and you go to the fourth competition that is open, which is FAI eSports Series 2025. You click on it, and on the left side, you will have the task and competition day 1 to 6. You click on competition day 6, and then you will get the task description of the day. You will be able to see the task again. You will be able to download the task later on, uh, well, I think already now, so that you can try to fly the race yourself. If you're starting gliding, or if you missed a race or whatever, you can try to race and do the same as the guys did tonight. And then you go on race results, and you can have the overall results that are scored. Official results will be at midnight in 1 hour and 15 minutes from now in Europe, in Central Europe. But otherwise, you can get the overall. What I see now is that apparently Patrick Médard is on fifth place, so he did not win indeed. And our podium is Franz Schwetzweger, Oscar Niner from Germany. Then we have Marcin May from Poland and Nico Bianchi from Argentina. That's the top three that we have today. So that's the guys that we were following on server A. So well done to them. Where are
yeah,
we next?
indeed, very well done. Now we've got Yanis approaching the finish. Well, the last reporting point, I think. Or is this the finish line? No, last
No,
reporting point. Yeah.
exactly. Reporting point. Can we have a view out to see if anyone else is coming in? Alex will be coming, and afterwards behind, because I think there are a few outlandings maybe, yeah, on this raid. Kilo Sierra, Whiskey Romeo. I think all the other guys have outlanded. I need to ask confirmation of that.
Yeah, these pilots probably are potentially the last people still flying. I think that we had quite a few tricky spots that unfortunately forced some pilots to land out. And I think it was a very interesting race. There were all sorts of different decisions taken by the pilots. By no means we did not have everybody just following the same route. There were always different strategies taken by different pilots from the very first seconds of the race. Just after crossing the start line, we already saw some pilots flying to the left, some pilots flying right, and then pretty much after each turn point,
Mhm.
we had some sort of different decision taken by pilots, and the group of pilots spreading more and more. Eventually, those who made the best decisions, who flew safely and high throughout the year, throughout the race,
Paris.
managed to be in those top spots with Frank winning. Excellent win. Congratulations. And tomorrow is going to be really interesting. Well, we've got the last two races tomorrow, right? Right,
Yeah,
Antoine? Am I
exactly.
correct?
Exactly.
Okay, so what the one race is at 1 o'clock, the French
Uh,
time, right?
yeah,
And then the other one.
it's at yeah, one no, it's 2 uh I don't even remember. I think it's 2 p.m. I think it's 2 p.m. Central Eastern Time, if I'm correct. Yeah, it's 2 p.m. Central Eastern Time, and then it's at 8 p.m. Central Eastern Time. Indeed.
Right, Antoine, can you give us any heads up in terms of the tasks that are ahead? Are we going to have some
Yeah.
exciting races? What about the last one? Are we dashing through some mountains in the final race?
Haha. So tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be a flatland in Slovenia,
Right.
starting close to Zabok and going to Slovenj Gradec, and to the south, there's going to be overdevelopment and blue thermals in the afternoon with quite a few airspace active. So I hope that someone will go into an airspace, because we absolutely need to check that the new penalty is working on that, because the Condor 3 will now have the airspaces that you must respect. And then in the evening, it's going to be a race in the mountains in Austria, west of Klagenfurt. We were flying Klagenfurt in one of the races, but it's going to be on the west part of Klagenfurt, in the high mountains there, and again some strong thermals and blue thermals there. So it's going to be interesting to follow tomorrow. Um, yeah, just a recap of the race quickly. So the pilots started and had to go to the turn point one in Egin. We had two big options, very interesting to follow, and in the end didn't make a lot of difference. A little bit better for, going to the ridges, but otherwise it was quite okay, because Marcin May was there and he finished second. Then going back, they took more or less all the same way, but Marcin took an option towards Saint-Auban, the Vomas, and the nice cloud street in the valley, while others took the ridges far on the east side of the track, going to Lucandiwa. Some people were stuck there in Lucandiwa, difficult to get in or to get out of this area, and then big events with the Pic de Bure and Pioli and all this area, big overdevelopments, lightning, thunderstorm, and rain showers for the pilots. a lot of pilots were in in difficulty here, very low in this area near Pic de Bure and afterwards toward 10.3, and then it was easier to be higher to get out of 10.3 to go to the reporting point and to get back to Sisteron. We all loved this race tonight. Vitol, do you want to add anything to
Well, I think that you summarized it pretty well. That's again very interesting, very exciting race. It was nice to see different decisions, and I think it was also very instructional for very instructive for people who are just starting. You could kind of see which strategies worked quite well. We had some great examples of pilots getting in trouble because being too low. So I think it was great. I
no,
really enjoyed the race.
a lot of problems here and there to deal with and to try to anticipate. So it was really fun to have. So everyone, see you tomorrow for race 7 and 8, the last races of this event, and we'll talk about the next event if you're there with us tomorrow evening. So thank you so much for joining us and for racing if you are amongst the pilots. So thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye bye.